Hello, welcome back to another episode of How I Escaped Prison. I'm Andrea Parc.
And I'm Alexa Dumitru. And today we thought about talking about something that we both experienced for sure. And most likely a lot of people listening have experienced as well. Um, how important your mental health is to your body and to your physical health. Because, again, as I said, we both experienced moments where our mental health and our mentality was not 100% maybe, and it really affected our bodies.
Yes, and I talk a lot in my course and in all the work that I do, how our TFAs affect our bodies, thoughts, feelings, and actions. And why we chose this week to talk about this is because last week I was out of commission with a migraine for 4 days that put me in the ER,
Yeah.
actually, for the first time in my life.
Yeah. That was pretty scary.
And I believe that um, talking about this issue and how we create unconsciously, of course, because we don't wake up in the morning and
I'm gonna be sick today.
oh, I'm gonna create a miserable day for myself and migraine and pain, and I'm gonna fall or God knows what else. No, it's unconscious, but with our thoughts, we create our feelings, and from there, the actions that messes with our vibration, and whatever we put out, that's exactly what we get back.
Yeah. And personally, I've experienced this phenomenon a few months ago. So my dad passed away last year, and since then it was a very sudden heart attack. And since then, I have had absolutely horrible, what's the phobia of? It's a phobia of being sick. I don't remember what the term is. Um, I'm sure someone is screaming at their screen right now telling me what I'm sure I'll remember by the end. Um, and I was, I ended up at so many doctors for heart problems, for all kinds of problems, and
Panic attacks
panic
almost
attacks.
every day.
And like 6 months ago, it had gotten to like really, really, really bad. I was so anxious and I was so like I couldn't even go to work because I would get horrible panic attacks on the train. And living in New York City, trains are unavoidable. I was I had everything from bronchitis, like physical issues, not like panic attacks and whatever that are mental. I was having, like, it was manifesting physically. My wrist, I had like an issue with my wrist, and I was going to so many doctors. It was like a 2 month period where I had been to like 10 different doctors, like, no exaggeration.
And everyone prescribed something
Yeah,
different. At some point, you had from an inhaler
yeah,
to
it was crazy.
a
And
list of medication.
yeah. And I did so many x-rays and MRIs and tests and everything on the earth, and I was fine. Everybody told me that I was fine. Nothing was wrong with me. And at one point, I had had such a massive panic attack. So I had been diagnosed with bronchitis, and I had had such a bad coughing fit that couldn't, I couldn't breathe. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, of course.
And it was my first day. We were just got back from the doctor, and it was the first day with my inhaler and all that medication, the first day of my antibiotics. And I just had such a bad coughing fit. And the next day I was supposed to go to work. and the office is about an hour train ride away from my house. So I said, I'm worried that I'm not going to be okay to be an hour away from home. But, you know, trek on. I'll be fine. I have all my medication with me. Like, I'll be fine. I get 1 block away from my house. I start freaking out a little bit. I said, it's fine. I'll be fine. 2 blocks away from my house, I call my mom. My mom didn't answer, so I said, okay, this is my sign to keep trekking. I'm fine. By the 3rd block, I had freaked myself out so bad that I had called my boss and I had been like, I can't come. And I don't remember what I said to him on the phone. I was so freaked out. Just crying on the phone. I couldn't control anything anymore. And my mom called me back and she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't.
I'm coming back home.
Home. I at that point I had gotten so scared
Yeah,
that
it was a massive panic attack.
I thought I was having a psychotic break. Like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to just run in the street and scream. I've never experienced such a thing. It was absolutely horrifying. So I came home and I just wanted to be alone in a dark room. I cried. I was like in my comfy clothes and I just like zoned out, checked out for like, what was it, 2 hours?
At least, yeah.
And after that day, I put my foot down and I said, I've had enough. Who's controlling me? My brain? My brain is controlling me, or I'm controlling my brain. That's it. So I contacted my therapist who I hadn't seen in a while because of insurance issues. I contacted a new doctor that's a holistic dietitian. I had contacted so many people just to like, so I had to try something new. That was it. So I had been to this holistic dietitian and she did a bunch of tests on me, muscle testing it's called. And turns out I had a candida overgrowth. And for those who don't know, candida is a yeast that we all naturally have in our stomachs. And due to things like stress, gut, due to things like stress and hormonal imbalance, antibiotics, sugar, gluten, everything just makes this bacteria overgrow. And a lot of people don't know they have this overgrowth. So, due to stress, my candida was so overgrown in my body that it was causing all these issues
And created inflammation.
and created inflammation. That's why my wrist was having issues. A lot of things stemmed from
Right,
that.
all the anxiety.
Right. And now I'm on a diet. No sugar, no gluten, no processed sugar. No gluten, no seed oils. No, it's a lot of no processed foods. And
No plastic.
no plastic because I am allergic to plastic. Um, and I feel so much better. But that diet also came in tandem with fixing what's going on up here. Um, Part of this lifestyle change was 10-minute meditation in the morning and raising my heart rate for at least 10 minutes a day. So not only did I do a lot of work physically to get rid of these symptoms and these issues, but I did a lot of work spiritually because ultimately the stress and the self-created anxiety was leading to these issues. It was such a crazy time.
Yes. And this explains how we can actually control how we feel.
Yeah.
And
Physically.
And as we speak about this, we're vocal about this because we want everybody to know that we're not perfect. We're going through these issues. Although we know how to fix them, we're still human, and
Yeah.
we create our own pain still, but the key here is awareness. As I'm super vocal about being aware of what we think and how we feel as a result of what we think. We can control our thoughts, but we can introduce good feelings and good thoughts that create good feelings. And my migraine, so Alexa explained her issues. My migraine last week was a combination of some hormonal issues that I have with a super overthought of what am I doing and how can I control my future. And resulted, it started from Alexa's laughing because it's funny. It's a comment that my mom made on the phone with me. They were 3 to 5 words that she said to me that on an already weak mind and already headache, it was those 5 words was an instant migraine that sent me again to ER the following day.
Yeah.
Now, of course that I've worked with myself many years, and I worked on my relationship with my mom. But here it's not about my mom. Here it's about me, the projection of my thoughts. So she was just a mirror. She showed me, because people that presses our buttons are our best teachers. So I thank my mom for pushing the buttons for me to realize that I still need to work on some things on myself. That I'm trying to control a lot, although I know, and I'm teaching this, that the only thing that we can control, it's our mind. We can't control anything else. So what am I trying to control? Literally, I can't control anything in my life. And although, I mean, I'll be 50 next year. All right. So I've lived for, so I started this work when I was probably 42. So I've lived 42 years with this mindset that, yes, I can control everything in my life. Everything that I can put my mind to, I can control. Well, no, it's not. I need to learn still and remind myself that um, things sometimes just happen, and I can force things. I have to let things flow into my life and outside of my life. Resistance and control, it's the worst suffering.
I think that affected you so much because, you know, it's your mom and you've previously had, traumas and issues with her and regarding her. And, you know, sometimes the people closest to us affect us the most.
Yes.
And because if it was anybody else, it wouldn't have affected you so much.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yes.
But because it was her,
yeah,
it just like deep into your heart and it just
boom.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that ultimately the lesson here is that it's a deeper trauma that you have to work
Oh
through.
yes. Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes. And again, it's not, we can't heal overnight. we heal in years and years of work.
Right. And it's very much an up and down thing.
Yes.
I mean, I thought I was doing very well before Dad passed away. And it just sort of all went downhill. And again, I was having days within that bigger drop, if you will, where I was doing better than other days. And you also need to allow yourself some grace in that, you know, in those areas, because nobody's perfect. A. B, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication and a lot of effort and a lot of time. And it's really a lifestyle change. It's everything in your life will change, and it should be changing. I mean, life is about change. You should be changing, and you should be welcoming that change.
Yes. And what
you should be. I don't want to say should be,
No.
because I'm not here. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. But I personally welcome change. I love change. I try my best to change one thing every day and take a different route to the train or whatever it may be. I never have the same schedule every day. Always. I love change.
And what I'm working on with myself is to be kind with myself.
Yeah.
To love myself. I can't do anything with my life if I'm not okay with myself.
You're right.
And the response is back to that work that I've been doing for a long time: acceptance and forgiveness. Accept that the only responsibility that I have is to myself.
Absolutely.
I'm not responsible for other people's wellness and well-being, happiness.
Yeah.
This is what I was trying to control. I was trying to control how people feel. I wanted to be responsible for people's happiness, but I can't do that. I can only, like the saying, you can take the horse to the water, but you can make the horse drink.
Yeah.
So I can only help people help themselves.
Yeah.
And if I'm not helping myself first, how can I help somebody else?
And I think the easiest way to start to change those ideas about yourself is to not say bad things about yourself. I mean, I've heard countless people around me and in my life say, "Oh, I'm so stupid." They drop something. "Oh, I'm so stupid." "Oh, I'm so ugly." "Oh, today, whatever." I am sick. Or I am. These word roots are not good because they identify a problem that isn't necessarily there. For example, I have migraines. No, you don't. You get them on occasion, right? Yeah. It's not, you can't identify with something.
With the migraine.
With the migraine.
Right.
Because then it gives power to the migraine.
Right.
And it doesn't have any power.
Or my diabetes, my heart problem, my
anxiety, my this, my that. I have anxiety and that's it. No, anxiety sometimes, but I'm in control of that situation. Well, you're not always in control of diabetes and things like that, obviously. But just the way the perspective, the way that you think about it and the way that you talk about these things gives a lot of power to certain things. For example, I am ugly. That gives a lot of power to something that doesn't exist.
That's the creation of our mind.
Yeah, and the way that your brain doesn't understand the joke or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Your brain takes it as what it is, as what you're saying, what you're thinking.
We are creating our own reality, and the word abracadabra it's not only it's not a magic word, abracadabra, and things, the rabbits come out of hats.
Right.
No, abracadabra actually means I create as I speak. So the way we speak, the way the vibrations that we infuse in our words is what we create in our reality. And it's very interesting that our ears don't hear, our ears translate what we hear with
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
we have inside.
Yeah.
Our eyes don't see, our eyes reflect and see what we have inside. Why?
Our perspective.
That's why, right? It's perspective. How do we see? We only see things how we are inside. That's the reason why the same thing, two people can see it differently, because it's how each person is created inside, because how we are inside, this is what we create outside
For
of us.
example, what grandma said to you, you didn't take it at face value. You took it as an attack. It was an attack, simply.
Clearly.
And I really, I'm very blessed to have that we have such a close relationship, because sometimes people say things to us and we sort of take it, our perspective takes it as an attack or whatever it may be. And sometimes we just take a second, we go to each other. This person said this XYZ, whatever. Uh, what do you think? And the other person says, yeah, it just means that whatever they said. I mean, oh, okay. And then we go back and we change the perspective of how we thought of this thing that this person said.
Yes.
So sometimes it helps to have like an outside opinion on things, just so you get a different perspective and you realize
Yes.
that, you're overthinking a little bit.
And I'm blessed, and I want to thank you now, uh, uh, on air, on the record,
Publicly.
on the record, that so many times you bring myself to awareness.
Because I'm very honest.
Yeah,
I'm
you.
too brutal sometimes.
You're right. I'm the same, but I'm. I believe that I did an enormous amount of work with myself, but sometimes, sometimes I am caught in my unconsciousness.
Yeah.
And Alexa comes and says, "No, that's not what happened.
What are we
No."
doing here? What are we doing here?
And brings me back to my awareness. And I'm
Yeah.
really grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yesterday we were walking back. We went to go get milk. And I had this idea of growing my business. And I said, Ma, I really need some advice because I don't know what I'm doing. I've never started a business before. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you, help me a little bit? She goes, well, I can't really help you. You need to make a plan, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, fine. So let's make a plan. She started talking about these things and she started asking me, who do you have that can help you or whatever? And I named someone and she was like, everything that I was saying was just like wrong. Everything that I was saying just wasn't clicking. And I'm like, what are we doing here? What? Then why are you getting mad at me? You're asking me a question, I answer your question, and somehow it's still wrong. Like everything that I was saying was just wrong. And then I went somewhere to talk with someone in the building, and I come back, and she's nice as a daisy, as if nothing happened. She's like, oh, and we just spoke about it again, like in person. Like you were just cranky. I don't know.
Well, it happens,
It happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best of us. And thank you so much for, see, that's why we're saying that we're open books. It's nothing hidden in these conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes we need to give ourselves the time and the patience to to deal with each other.
Yeah.
Because I know that when I feel anxious or that I have an emotion, I stop and I talk to myself and I ask myself questions.
Yeah.
Where is this emotion coming from? What am I thinking?
Doesn't make sense.
What does it make sense? How can I help myself understand? And if there is nothing for me to understand, I just let it go, because putting too much energy in trying to understand something that maybe doesn't make any sense, it's not helping me at all.
And I mean, that's how our brains are wired, to have like random self-preservation and self-protection. And our brain creates scenarios and issues that don't really exist just to protect ourselves
Yeah,
from.
that is the how I call it, is the old brain, is the caveman that comes out and is trying to fix things.
Yeah.
And if you calm him down, he goes back into his cave and he's fine.
He's calm.
Yeah, he's calm. That's how I envision my ego, because
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's trying to protect us, but then the prefrontal cortex then comes with the logic and explains, no, 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 this is the way it is, and all things are good. Thank you very much, caveman, for trying to protect me, but I'm fine, and I assure you that I can handle myself.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I have these conversations with myself almost every day. Yeah. And if I'm ruminating on thoughts, and if I have thoughts that come and come and come and don't stop, um yeah, I literally say, that's it, that is it, please
Yeah.
stop. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear it. I'm fine, please let me be.
Sometimes what I do, I find myself doing it just subconsciously. I smack my head like this. Stop. Hello. What are we
Yeah.
doing? I don't know why. Last night I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up. I kept like thinking about whatever, and I kept waking up. And at one point, I started smacking my head like this. Started smacking, and I woke up even more. And I started laughing at myself because it was so subconscious. Just okay. And then it was hard for me to go back to sleep. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So right, when we get to awareness of our thoughts, it's easy because it's a pattern of the thoughts.
Yeah.
Because again, we've been living in our entire lives with thoughts like that we haven't been conscious of. And now that we become conscious is hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy to change a pattern of thought
That you've
or
had your whole life.
behaviors that we had our entire lives.
Yeah.
And but it's possible, and with work and humor, I mean, I know that I laugh at myself a
Yeah.
lot.
All the time. Yeah.
With humor, um
Anything is possible.
and work, yes, anything it's possible, and any
It's not gonna be easy, but it's worth it.
yes, and any disease or pain or discomfort or unease that you have, you can let it go with awareness and with the perspective of how do you see yourself? How do you see things? How a lot of us are trying, as I said before, are trying to control our situations. and trying to control. We're parents, right? We're trying to control the lives of our children. Oh, I know better. Uh, it's not always that we know. It's what we believe it's best for our kids, but what do we know?
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, when I was in prison and I had no control over Alexa's life, I literally had the conversation with my higher power and her higher power. You want to call it God, whatever you want to call it. I said, I'm just the foster parent. I just brought her to life. Now she's yours. Please do the best that is for her. And that was my surrendering moment because all my life I was trying to do what's best for her. Although not always I chose the best for her. I know that I pushed her to do a lot of things. I pushed her to go to a private school for my image that I created for myself. My child has to go to a private school because they're whatever, best. And she was going to private school. She was going to private lessons of
Piano, tennis,
piano,
swimming, everything.
everything in the same time, and plus a tutor at night until 8:30 to be able to finish all the homework that she had. And she didn't have I don't know, nice, happy, I don't know how to call it, childhood because I pushed her. And then when I realized that it's not working because every week I was called into the principal's office with various issues, I realized that this child is not happy where she is. And then I transferred her to a public school here in Long Island City, and I guess it was.
I was doing a little bit better. But then you sort of helped me cultivate what I wanted. And now I guess, I mean, I kind of do whatever I want. Sometimes I get aggravated because sometimes I ask you for advice and you just say, you just gotta think about it. And you don't help me, like I need, but I'm asking you for help. Sometimes you're a little too in the back seat, but regardless, yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think that I'm so independent and I know what I want and I'm so driven and I do what I love, not because of,
I don't want to influence you in
yeah,
any way. I want you to do whatever you want and to take responsibility
right.
for your choices and for your life because it's so easy and we all do that. We're asking somebody else for advice just because we don't want to take responsibility for our own choices.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at how we make decisions, it's very interesting that it all boils down to responsibility.
that's true. Yeah.
Do we take full responsibility of our decisions?
Yeah.
So sometimes that's the reason why I'm not telling you and I'm not giving you probably the answers that you want because I want you to take full responsibility for your choices.
Fine. I'll take the answer. And this seems like a very good place to stop. This was a fun episode. I liked it. I had fun.
Yes. And I hope that it helped you to realize where some of your aches and pains are coming from.
Yeah. And in case you are wondering what we're wearing, sponsored by me.
Alexa Dumitru Atelier.
Yes. My website will be linked below. So thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
listening.
Thank you. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.